All right, Wash family, we made it. I know it's been a bit of a break in between the videos just with the PWMCA trip and getting back and rushing through everything. I forgot to upload the last video, so it was actually two together. But we're in the home stretch. So as you saw at the end of the last video, I picked up this 10-gallon-a-minute machine so I can utilize that High-Low Solutions Curbinator. Also, I'm going to use this on my mini Mondo for surface cleaning to get it done quicker. Mike, the Fresh Rinse, does that for his, and it flies. So figure if it works for him, it should work for me. And then also I might be using a 10-gallon minute with that Sirocco vac reclaim unit. But here we are. So 8-gallon minute machine, which is going to be used just for downstreaming and I guess light surface cleaning. If it's a lot of surface cleaning, I'll use the 10. I've got my Comet P40 pump right there behind. So this actually works out good. I can easily reach all the controls from the front of the trailer the way it is there. I just redid some of my bracing. Mounted a fire extinguisher to the front here. And these are meant, if you use the mounts that they come with, they're meant to be mounted to a wall that doesn't move, obviously. So this spring clamp here is pretty touchy, so I don't trust bumps or anything. So I went ahead and put one of these extra large quick fist clamps on around the mounting bracket just to make sure it doesn't fall off in transit anywhere. A lot of plumbing here. I've got my 10-gallon minute machine mounted to the unloader block here. I got my bypass line going up and into the top of the tank there. And then my pressure line going out here. The only thing I don't have set there yet is my quick connects to hook up to. All my other plumbing for the Comet goes through here in between the aluminum box and the bleach tank. Fuel cell, I have now just a single fuel filter because it only needs one. And I bought one of these distribution blocks here. This is aluminum and it's got stainless fittings, and I can turn on and off the fuel supply. This is for the P40, this is for the 10-gallon minute machine, and this is for the 8. So as whichever machine I'm using, I just turn the fuel on, and then I have this switch here, which controls the fuel pump. The reason I do this is one, so I only have one fuel pump and one fuel filter that feeds all the machines. That pump puts out, it's an Edelbrock aftermarket pump. You can see right here. This only puts out a maximum of 3 PSI, so it's a very low pressure. But these machines don't use that much fuel, and they're all carbureted, so that means they all have float bowls. So that pump will be able to supply all 3 of these at the same time if I had them all running, no problems. But my concern was having just that pressure. It's not a big deal when the motor's running and that fuel level's dropping, that seat is opening, letting fuel in. But if the motor isn't running, if I'm only using, say, the 8, and I've got fuel pressure going to the 10, that little bit of pressure, I was not sure if that would damage anything, either in the little pulse pump that's already in there, or like on the Comet, there is no pump at all. It's just the float bowl, so it's got this tiny little needle and seat that stops the fuel flow. If that constant pressure would damage anything. So that's why I did this. Whatever machine I'm not using will have the flow shut off. That way there's no issues. And yeah, one pump to run all 3 machines. This is my distribution block for the front of the trailer. So this comes from my main distribution block next to the battery. So this controls all 3 of these machines and the fuel pump. I've got some tools to put away here. But yeah, you can see how I got everything wired up here. This is a remote on-off, remote start box for the P40. Just solo guy, so you know, obviously if I could turn it off when I'm not using it, will save the pump. I'm waiting on my other clear bowl fuel water filter because I had that Y strainer on there and they didn't match and it bothered my OCD. So gonna go ahead and make those match. So hopefully that'll be in today and I can plumb those up. I also ordered one more of these unloader blocks. So my 8-gallon minute machine will be here with a quick connect and my 10-gallon-a-minute machine will be somewhere over here with a quick connect. And then for the carbonator, I will get a Siamese kit that just plugs right into both right there, and I'm good to go. Inside my box here, I've got all my wiring done. So I have one deep cycle 12-volt battery here. This runs basically the power for all the engines. It runs the lights, and it runs my Flow Pro and my remote bypass for the P40. So this is basically handles everything 12 volt. I have a master on-off switch here, and then my power goes from here to my distribution block, which goes to everything else. I have my trailer is my ground, so this goes to a mounting bolt on this box here. So all my grounds just go to the trailer. That way I have less wires. These grounds here just go to these switch boxes. This other auxiliary wire that's bypassing my circuit breaker comes from my plug that goes into my truck. So this charges this 12-volt battery when I'm driving. These two batteries here are connected just to make 24 volts for my 10-gallon-a-minute North Star pump there. My switches, I've got two sets. Green switches are lights. So I've got one that does my caution lights on my tank. That goes around both sides, and I do have a controller that sets different patterns than that inside this box here. And this one is all my lights around the trailer. I've got two on each side, one on front, one on back, and then inside, one on front, one in back, which lights up the inside of the trailer very well. Pitch black, and it lights up an area, I'd say a good 30 feet around this trailer. These are my pumps. Right pump is my water-fed pole pump, and the left is the 24-volt 10-gallon-a-minute pump there. Obviously, I've got the Flow Pro with the super nice, super sturdy aluminum machined hold-down brackets. Those 3D printed brackets just don't hold up in the long run. These were expensive, but well worth it because I'll never need to buy another pair, ever. So. Let's see what else. I got to get a hold down yet for my ball valve here. This changes the flow from my 24-volt pump to the P40 because I'm using one manifold for both. I've got my outlets here for the 24-volt and for the P40. Hanging reels worked out great on my test run. Also, I'm going to be getting another plug for my soft wash reel here, but putting a plug in the now non-used swivel, and get a view here, for storage of this, because I'm just using my reels as storage. So that will hold this up so it's not dangling, won't be dripping chemical on my trailer. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So right now I'm just kind of hanging out here, but I'm going to get a plug for up in here to chuck it into. Flow Pro's mounted up here. Remote bypass system is mounted there. The controller for the remote bypass for that is in the back, right there. I got that from John Hall. I've got my downstream proportioner here, and I had my one of my metering valves off my first soft wash system. You know, these cheap $30 valves, I saved them, which came in handy because this now meters my soap, so I can utilize these ball valves because bleach is always wide open. But soap, instead of cracking it, I'd much rather have a controlled flow, so I just screwed that in there. And these ball valves do have check valves in these bottom nipples, so that's awesome because it prevents backflow. Let's see what else here. This is the on-off soap valve for the remote bypass for the soft wash side, which also feeds off of this. So that way I get, if I have this lever this way, I'm getting soap that would be going to my downstream. So just my regular house wash mix soap goes through and then goes to my large manifold. Or if I go this way, it comes out of this port, which can go into anything else I want, which I don't really do much else. But if I were to use like green ox or for some reason if I needed a super strong degreaser mix that I wouldn't do in my regular sprayer, I could do that. But for the main thing, that's just going to be going into my soap tank, just for soap. So for this proportioner, This goes to both the 24 volt and the Comet. So I've got, bleach, which comes from that remote bypass up there, which can switch to water for rinsing. Soap, which is metered here, and then water, which is wide open. And this I had to put in my bypass loop for my P40 because since I'm using this manifold for both the P40 and the 24 volt pump, when I was trying to prime my 24 volt pump, it was pulling, but it was also pulling from this bypass loop, which is 25 feet of hose, so it would never prime. So I had to put this ball valve in here. So now not only do I have to make sure I have that one in the correct orientation for what I'm doing, but also this one, because this would close off my bypass loop and not be good. So I have to make sure, and this will probably stay open all the time. That way it's safer. And this will probably always be in P40 mode, which is that. And that way I know, okay, well, that pump can run dry, no big deal. And I'll know quick that it's not working. So then I got to switch that. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to close that. So those are going to stay in that orientation just as a safety precaution for me. I guess we'll look in this box first. So still have some filling to do in here, but I've got my neutralizer. That was one other thing I didn't point out is this last valve here is just a loose hose like a drop stick, and that's what I'll be using until I hard mount a container with neutralizer in it to flush my injector out when I'm done, or for plant property protection. But otherwise I could run a masonry cleaner through here, alkaline cleaners, degreasers, whatever. I just drop this into the 5-gallon bucket back there and let it draw. This is going to be oil and gloves. I've got my little tie downs and covers, and my tape is in here, and this is my little garbage can. So this can still get filled, and I wanted to leave it empty because every trailer setup is different, and I've always changed things, so I'd rather have room to say, okay, well, it would make more sense to keep that in here. So that will be the plan. So supply reel, 300 feet of 0G professional 3/4 inch hose. I have that all on these quick connect cam locks. This one screws into the customer's spigot, and then it's just quick, easy connections. I pull it off in 75-foot sections, and I quick connect to here, which goes through the reel into this hose, up into one filter, 1-inch line then all the way down to my Hudson float valve. And I will be doing a bypass on that for possible hooking up to a private fire hydrant for a higher flow fill on commercial work if I need it. Water fed pole reel. And up here, I put this other rail to mount all my reels to, and that is where I'm keeping my water fed poles. Same thing, I have these quick fist connectors here, which are very, very secure. So that's where my water fed pole will sit. I have my one 10-foot universal extension for the 0 micro. And then I have 3 sections on my regular pole, which should let me get to about 16 feet, maybe 12 feet, 12, 16, somewhere in there. But for regular commercial windows, if I'm just doing what I normally use it for, that's enough. And if I need extra, then I bump up to these other extensions here, but at least that way it keeps it lighter. Nothing really interesting in the top of the tank here. I've got my 2 water inlets. I've got my bypass for my 8-gallon a minute, bypass for the 10-gallon a minute. This is my drop tube for my water fed pole. Here's my ladder, which very rarely comes off the trailer. I've got my extension pole and brush here. These are those lights. Super nice. They have breathers in them so that they don't hold moisture inside. These are meant for boats, so they're pretty high quality. Let's see here. Surface cleaner, quick fist connector up top. 2 hooks at the bottom to hold that in place. DI filter for my water fed pole. This is those strip lights for my warning lights, yellow and white. Got my cones. I now have 2-inch plumbing inside there coming out of my supply tank going to my pressure washers. I kept the 1.25 inch drain just because it doesn't take me that long to drain water. So that dumps out right there. This is the pump for my water-fed pole. That obviously pulls from my buffer tank, and then it goes through the DI filter and up to that reel. This side is all cleaning chemicals and stuff. Basically degreaser or light degreasers like citrus degreasers, shingle grip for roof cleaning. This is the rope if I'm doing some high work where I need to pull my hose up. I've got my water-fed pole, extra brushes here, coconut pads, magic erasers, gutter bags, just a couple, I need more. Clamp on vise funnels, just miscellaneous stuff, but chemicals that are more soapy than acids. The acids will be kept on this side. So yeah, I've got graffiti remover in there, masonry cleaner, rust removers, red clay stain removers. Those will all be in here since the back of this is open. I figured this would be better vented than the closed box. I got my 12-volt portable sprayer. I've got my safety harness. This will change probably a little bit here and there. This is my 2-inch line coming out. So I'll have this going to my 10-gallon-a-minute machine. This will go to the 8. Both my filters will be tied up really nice and neat there. All the lines will be hugged up. Only thing now, because I have everything so tight around my IBC tote, I'm running out of storage for my yard signs and my A-frame signs. So the yard signs I might disassemble to put somewhere, unless I can fit them on top of that box. I just thought of that. Maybe I can. But if all else, that's okay. Everything else is so clean and compact on here now. I have probably twice the amount of storage space, 2 extra machines, and I actually have more open space on the trailer than I did before, and an extra 50 gallons of bleach storage. So I've really, I enjoy doing this every year because I always refine the process just a little bit more. I've got my ladder mounts for the roof there, and an extra brush. I still got some space down here, so I'll probably fill that with some stuff as we go. But that's it. I'm hoping this rain lets up today so I can take it outside and fill the tanks and do a pressure test on everything and make sure there's no leaks or anything. And then this week I'm good to start washing. And this trailer is gonna do a lot. See if I can get a small aluminum ramp to go that I can keep in the truck that goes here so I can wheel stuff in and out here, because I could get that whole Sirocco vacuum system up there, up in here, which would be great. Even if I had to put some of the stuff in the bed of the truck, like the hose reel or something. The vac unit and the filters could all go there. I could get more on the back. Yeah, there's just a ton of options here. I'm super happy with the way this turned out. I hope these videos help you guys, give you some ideas. If you have questions or are just looking for another way to mount some stuff, that's why I do this. I love, further refining the process, and I always get compliments on how clean everything is, how good everything looks. I'd be lying if I said I can't guarantee that's how I get the business that I do, because it does. It just looks really good. And pulling up in someone's driveway, I mean, it's not an eyesore. Everything's neat and tidy, and that's what they pay for. They pay for the professional service. It's a professional setup. So that's it, guys. I might do one more showing, once it's outside and 100% polished with everything finished up and all that. But aside from that, this is the 2024 rig ready to work. I'm excited for that. So thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a good one. Good luck this season.